Hello everyone and welcome to Comic Reviews. Usually I will be reviewing a video game per the regular schedule, but the games I've been playing lately have been super difficult to complete. It looks like I have to stay up all night for a few extra nights and play until the games I'm reviewing are complete. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the comic review. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, their comic tenure far supersedes any animated TV show or movie that has ever came, even though they are enjoyable classic pieces of cinema and television series. There will be more on that in future videos, so trust me. The Ninja Turtles have teamed up with a lot of mainstream media over the years, like Batman, The X-Files, Savage Dragon, and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Today I want to talk about one team up in particular, and that is the Ghostbusters. I thought it was an odd team up when I heard about it, but when I finally read it, it really worked well due to them both dealing with supernatural beings on more than one occasion. The title of the comics I'm referring to are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters. It was published by IDW Publishing, celebrating both franchises' 30th anniversary, with 4 issues that were released from October 22nd, 2014 to December 10th, 2014. Also, there is a sequel with 5 parts. More on the sequel later. Before I continue, there is a spoiler alert. If you haven't read it yet, but if you don't care for spoilers or you don't like to read comics like that, then allow me to enlighten you. Now let's get into it. Thousands of years ago, many immortals that ruled for centuries just disappeared without a trace and eventually would fade to myth and fairy tales. In Japan, during the Muromachi period, an immortal Kitsune is confronted by her brother, Chiyo, by conspiring with demons, but it was Krang from Dimension X, coming from a portal. Chiyo attacks Kitsune, but she outmaneuvers him and throws him in the portal. Kitsune worries at Chiyo's return. Krang was not worried because there are safeguards on the portal to prevent unwanted incursions, and he won't be able to enter his world or turn around. 100 years later in New York City, in the laboratory of Harold Lilia, we join the Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones, April O'Neil, and Dr. Harold. Donatello is working on an interspatial teleportation device. They test the device with an apple and it works by hitting Casey in the back of the head. Leonardo asks why they needed to see a short test, but Donatello wants all of them to use the machine. He said that he tested it on himself with no problem. The coordinates are set for their base in the sewer, but as they were going in the machine, a fly was getting in Dr. Harold's way and he accidentally hit a switch that labeled "Do Not Touch" and the machine recalibrated the coordinates. We go to New York City, but not the same New York City. Here we are joined by the Ghostbusters as they are dealing with a ghost. Dr. Peter Venkman wants to charge an extra $2,000 for how difficult the ghost was. Dr. Ray Stantz stated that the reason why it was difficult to deal with the ghost was either a dimensional breach or a Class 7 apparition on the horizon. Peter says not to worry due to the machine built by Ray and Egon that can detect those kinds of anomalies. However, the Ghostbusters get a call from their base. One of their friends, Kylie, confirms that a potential Class 7 is on the east side of town. Meanwhile, the Turtles, along with April and Casey, appear inside a church. April states that Donatello's coordinates are off, but he's reassured that he had the right coordinates because they are supposed to be teleported to an abandoned church. Michelangelo points out that the church was very much not abandoned. Then they hear a sinister voice stating that he's free. It appears to be Chiyo. He is disappointed that he can't sense Kitsune. However, he states that he feels more powerful. Casey wants to use the ninja vanish, but Leonardo points out that this is their church, but not from a time shift. Leonardo believes that they're in a different dimension. Raphael gets impatient and leads him to attack Chiyo, but he goes right through him. Chiyo is mistaken the turtles for being demons, vowing that they will never hold him captive again. He attacks Casey and takes control of him. At first, they couldn't understand him until he took control over Casey. The Ghostbusters bust in, seeing the turtles and mistaking them for Carfu Martians. They attack Chiyo with their proton packs and it hurts him. He finds out through the humans that he took control of who the Ghostbusters are. He makes a retreat along with the people he controlled and Casey. Ray sees that the turtles are a little too heavy to be constructs. Winston Zeddemore, an ex-Marine and the muscle of the Ghostbusters, wants to communicate with them, so they cease fire. April gets into the Ghostbusters' asses about shooting near innocent people and letting Chiyo get away. Ray feels like he's heard the name before, given what he knows of Chiyo's history. Dr. Egon Spangler, the tech wizard of the Ghostbusters, states that the Turtles and April are connected to all that's transpiring today. Donatello is intrigued by the Ghostbusters equipment and he would love to take a look. Raph cuts the conversation short as he wants to look for Casey. Donatello says that even if they find Casey, they still don't have a way to get back home to their dimension, so they'll have to enlist the Ghostbusters' help. They all introduce themselves and Donatello shows them the blueprints of the interspatial teleportation unit. They all head back to the Ghostbusters lab to help track Chiyo and Casey. Not so far away, Chiyo releases the rest of the people from the church from his control, saying that they are not fit for his army. Casey tried to break free, but it was of no use. Back at the Ghostbusters lab, the Turtles and April get acquainted and they all seem to be paired off to which characters shared similar traits. Chio goes to Midtown and takes control of a hockey game. The Ghostbusters get a call and it's Chio attacking. Raphael assumes Casey is there and wants to head out immediately. Dr. Spangler wants the Turtles and April to stay behind because their energy readings from when they all first appeared are degrading, and if the degrade keeps up, they'll be lost forever. They'll have at least 72 hours or less by Dr. Spangler's calculations. Regardless of the risk, the Turtles insist that they go with, but before they head out, Ray gives Donatello one of their spare proton packs. The Turtles and the Ghostbusters make it to the hockey match and Donatello heads in first and puts his foot in his mouth once he sees that the odds are against him. He fires his proton pack but misses due to him not knowing how to use it. Peter pep talks Donatello on how to use it while the others attack Chio's army. Michelangelo noticed that Chio has gotten weaker since he turned a guy into a monster. Leo says that they have to use that advantage, like right now. While Chio was busy, Winston was trying to use a ghost chat to chat to Chio. However, it was thwarted by Casey, knocking Winston out and releasing Chio's essence and escapes. Back at the Ghostbusters headquarters, Raphael gets onto them for letting them get away, again, questioning on how they stay in business for so long. Dr. Spangler says they don't know if they can sever Chio hold on there, and still there's the matter of getting the Turtles and April and Casey back to their world. One of their researchers, Kylie's Griffin, suggests on using traps at close range. Dr. Spangler thinks it wouldn't work, but Donatello and Ray says that hitting the minions in close range could interrupt the connection. Dr. Spangler says it may work, but it'll have to work all the variables out first. Chio punishes Casey for defying him, but he says that he has something for that. The alarm sounds in the Ghostbusters headquarters, and Leonardo tells April and Donatello to stay back with Ray. The rest head out to Chinatown and they find Chio and his minions, but no Casey. The Turtles use the close-range traps on the minions, saving the people. Chio spits up something like black goo-like substance, but it was more evil version of Casey. The Turtles were on the defensive because they don't want to hurt Casey. Peter catches Chio off guard and shoots him with a proton cannon, blowing him up. Raphael frees Casey. The group go back and celebrate eating pizza intended to Casey's wounds. However, there's still the matter of getting back home. Meanwhile, a cloud of energy materialized and as Chio survived, declaring war on the Turtles and the Ghostbusters. The next day, while everyone was working away for the Turtles and Casey to get back home, the alarm sounds. Leonardo figured out that Chio has finally come for them and they need to prepare. But it was too late, he was already there. The Ghostbusters and the Turtles will hold him off while the rest, like April and Kylie, were working on an EMP device. The minions come in barging into headquarters. The team used every weapon at their disposal to take out the minions. While April, Kylie, and Ray were working, Chio appears and grabs them, but an injured Casey activated the EMP device, setting the innocents free and stunned Chio. Chio can't use his powers but tried to kill Ray, but the others come in and push him back. They tried to use the ghost trap, but Chio grabs Winston and it went dark. Peter gets a lighter and he sees that Winston has been possessed and attacks them. Meanwhile, Donatello and Dr. Spangler are working as fast as they can on the interspatial portal. As Winston kicks the Turtles' asses, inside his mind he fights Chio's influence. Raphael and Leonardo use their close proximity traps to free Winston, while Peter uses a regular trap to catch Chio. The day is saved and the interspatial portal is now fixed and ready to send the Turtles and April and Casey home, and they bid farewell to the Ghostbusters. They all make it back to the Turtles' lair and they are greeted by their master Splinter. The comic series ends as the Ghostbusters was throwing Chio's trap into the portal that transported him light years away from Earth, but Chio feels the presence of his family and he will find his way back, eventually. Reading this comic, I wouldn't be surprised that this will be adapted into an animated film. You know the feeling when you're reading comic books and you can picture on what the characters sound like. For example, what's the first person that comes to mind when you're reading a Batman comic and Batman is talking? Kevin Conroy, right? Anyway, in my mind, I used the voices from the actors that played the Ghostbusters in their movies, and the voices from the 2003 TMNT series. The story is your typical team up from different dimensions to fight a common foe. They didn't fight each other very long, as Winston figured out that the Turtles didn't mean them no harm, and they were on the same side. They all get along great, even getting paired with similar personality traits, like Leonardo and Winston, the stern discipline that got shit done and not afraid of brute force. Raphael and Peter were the sarcastic ones of the group, but with a heart of gold when it comes to saving their friends. Michelangelo and Ray were the kind of odd pairing, but I guess it's okay since Ray, being a scientist and all, not being annoyed by Michelangelo. Hell, I think Ray even enjoyed Michelangelo was fascinated with their tech and wanted to use it and try on their doggone uniforms. Donatello and Dr. Springler complimented each other when bouncing ideas off of each other and fixing their interspatial device to help Donatello get their group home. April really didn't do much as she was paired with Kylie, but at least she was like, "Oh my god, save Casey! Save him!" Speaking of Casey, I feel he was used well into this to make it personal for the Turtles of why they needed to stop and defeat Chio. I don't know why Chio didn't focus on getting back to the ones that threw him in the portal in the first place. He was just your typical villain motivated on ruin the world like the rest of the sickos out there. Nothing more to say about him. I like this crossover, and I plan on reading more crossovers of Ninja Turtles and others, and some self-contained with no team-ups. So what comics you want me to review? Let me know in the comments. Email me or DM me on social media. They will be in the description below. As always, thank you guys for watching. First timers, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you all next time.